What happens to all the crawfish during the summer? Where'd they go? Good morning, guys and girls. April 29, and April 29, a windy April 29. You know, it's kind of crazy. March is supposed to be the windy month, and it's supposed to go out like a lamb. It seems like April is going out in a lot of wind and a lot of storms and a lot of rain in a lot of places. And maybe May is going to be coming in with it like a lamb. I don't know. But April 29th, our scriptures from Hebrews 11:1. I know some of y'all are thinking about coffee right now. Hebrews 11:1. Faith means being sure of the things we hope for and knowing that something is real even if we can't see it. Knowing that something is real even when we can't see it. That's what faith is. We're sure of things we hope for. Our devotional says the easiest way to get a mental picture of an underwater creek or roadbed is to take 10 or 12 marker buoys, crisscross over that creek or roadbed, and drop a buoy each time you cross it. In other words, take your locator and go back and forth over a creek every time you cross the creek. Either drop it in the creek bottom or drop it right when you fall off the creek. Drop your marker buoy. Take 10 or 12 marker buoys and drop a buoy each time you cross that creek. Quickly, you'll have the creek or roadbed laid out with marker buoys on top of the water. Now you know what it looks like, and you can easily find the key areas to fish. This increases our faith in that particular piece of structure. Are you following what I'm talking about? You find a creek or a roadbed out in the middle of the lake. You might have seen that on a topographical map, topo map. And so you're going to go out there and try to fish that creek. What you want to do is you go back and forth across the creek with your locator every time it falls off in the creek or hits the bottom of the creek or comes up on the other side, whatever you want to do. I usually do it every time I hit the creek drop off. I'll just drop a marker buoy. I'll lay out and I'll go crisscross back and forth across that creek. When I got through, I've got 12 or 15 or 10 marker buoys laid out there on top of the water, and I can look, and that's the way that creek or that roadbed runs. Then I can take and go down through that with my locator and find areas on there where I want to fish, or I can just look at it and see, oh, that makes a sharp bend right over there. I'll go over there and fish right there by that buoy. And the fourth buoy I got out there, I can see it makes a sharp bend right there. It goes up and cuts back off over there. So that's exactly what I'm talking about there. All right, I'm not sure if there's a shortcut to real faith in Jesus. I'm not sure if there's a shortcut to real faith in Jesus. If there is, it's the fact that God chose us and He's working in us and for us every single day. We don't see God, but we see the results of His presence in our life. Just like we're not really seeing that creek. All we're seeing are those marker buoys laying on top. We're only seeing those marker buoys, but we know that the creek is right there below it. I can see God's work. I can see God's work in my life, and I know that He's there. I know Jesus is there. Hi, Melbourne. Hi, baby doll. How you doing, little guy? Yeah. You're going to be the most spirit-filled deer in the woods, aren't you? You're around every time I do a daily devotional. A spirit-filled deer. That's what we have right there. I don't know where my mind is going a lot of different directions right now. I see God's work, and I know that Jesus is there. We have faith because of the things that Jesus has done in our lives as we've lived them. If you've been a Christian for more than a day or two, God's done some special things in your life. You know it. You've seen those happen. And so faith is knowing that He's going to continue doing those things in the future. We have gone through and are going through a very, very difficult time in America. Lots of people have died because of this virus. Obviously, our entire way of life is being changed. Our economical situations are being changed. And kind of tell you, if you're not one of those elitists in Hollywood or a big media person or whatever, news person, not outdoor fishing show guys, because I can tell you every outdoor fishing show guy in the world has been touched by this from an economic standpoint. Pretty much every single business in the world has been touched by this virus. We need faith now more than ever. We need to look back on the times when we were at our lowest point, financially, health-wise, family-wise, death-wise in our families, and remember how God brought us through those things. Remember what God did. And can I tell you that God's out there right now doing just exactly what this says. He's working in us and for us every single day because God chose us and we are a child of God. So faith is a really, really, really big and important deal right now, not only in America, but in the entire world. Okay, here's our tip for this week. Crawdads will reappear in the early fall as food for the fish. Where'd they go? We know that they hibernate during the winter. We know they're gone during the winter, and they show up in the springtime. And we know they show up in the early fall, and it's a great time to, again, start throwing crawfish-colored baits. We've been throwing bluegill-colored baits, bass-colored baits, shad-colored baits during the summer. But the fall, the crawfish show back up, and we start, where'd they go? Well, they went to spawn. They got involved in the rut. Mama crawfish, crawfish bury up during the summertime. Here in our part of the South, most of the South, they'll do that. Usually during the month of July, they burrow up and they have their babies. Mama crawfish, by the way, can have about 400 babies. So they're very prolific in producing more crawfish. The fish are happy for that. Jimmy's happy for that. They produce a lot of crawfish. But they start showing back up again after the summer in the early fall as food for the fish. And of course, it's important to the fish. It's important to us. That's the time to start fishing crawfish-colored baits. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one today. Remember, I love you.